If you set one qualified listing appointment a day, you will make $1 million a year selling real estate. I'm gonna prove it to you with math and my own story. When I got a real estate license 30 years ago, I had no money, no experience, no degree, and 2 small children. I started prospecting out of a laundry room, nights and weekends. I don't care what your background is. I don't care where you're selling real estate. The math works for everybody. And if you work it, you will dominate your market and have financial freedom. I personally listed over 1,500 properties a year for a decade. I've trained over 10,000 agents, and our Sales X training members took over 6,000 listings last year. But I didn't start out this way, not even close. And that is the whole point of this video. The average real estate agent in this country sells 4 to 5 homes a year. After your broker split, your expenses, your board dues, your MLS fees, your marketing costs, what's left? Some agents are actually losing money, and that's because they're spending all of their time on the wrong activities. Social media posts that gets you 0 listings, Zillow leads that cost a fortune and go nowhere. Open houses where you sit for 4 hours hoping a qualified buyer walks through the door. Driving unqualified buyers around for months, showing them 10, 15, 20 homes, and then they see a for sale sign, call the listing agent and buy from someone else. I've been coaching real estate agents for over 15 years, and I have watched new agents spend months, some of them a full year, learning systems, trying different marketing activities, spending money, and not selling a single house because they never get to the one activity that makes them money. Having conversations with people about buying and selling real estate. Guess what? I never did any of those other things. Never sat at an open house. Never bought any leads. Never spent hours on social media hoping for business. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was forced to do the one thing that puts you in control of your income. Pick up the phone and talk to people. When I got into real estate, I was a stay-at-home mom. I had a 6-month-old and an 8-year-old. No experience, no sales skills, no college degree. English is my second language. I didn't know anybody that I could ask for business, and I had no money. If you would have known me back then, you would have said I would be the last person you'd bet on having a great real estate career. I've lived without having money to pay my electric bill. And you know what happens in most parts of the country when you don't pay your electric bill? They turn it off. I've been there. I've lived like that. I remember I was always worried about money every single day. Where's the money gonna come from to pay the bills? When you're broke, every other problem in your life gets harder. Everything. My only time to prospect was Monday through Fridays, 5:30 to 8:30 in the evening, and Saturdays and Sundays all day. That's it. Part-time, nights and weekends. I set up my prospecting space in a laundry room in my house. I had a desk. I had a wood shelf stuck to the wall at waist level so I could stand up while making my calls. I had a mirror so I could watch my body language and scripts taped to the wall right in front of me. I had a dream board, pictures of my goals. I remember going to Kinko's back then, and I had affirmations printed out on like colored cardboard, and I had them pasted all around the room. I had a little cassette player with upbeat background music to keep my energy up. Every single visual in that room was about prospecting and success. That was my world. And from that room, I made 400 contacts a week. Not dials, not ring, 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 no answer. Conversations, real conversations with real people. 400 a week, working part-time. In my first year in real estate, I sold 25 homes. About 18 from that list were just listed, just sold calls. A couple of expireds and the rest were FSBOs. And that's exactly when I figured it out. For sale by owners and expired listings converted dramatically faster than anything else. So I shifted to calling only those two groups, nothing else. Fast forward to year 4, I closed 100 listings, then 125 every single year for a decade. Real estate changed my life. The only advantage that I had is I was willing to talk to more people than everyone else. No secret, no shortcut. I just picked up the phone and dialed. Please write this down. Your goal is to set one qualified appointment per day. Just one. Let's say you work 280 days out of 365 in a year. That gives you 280 qualified listing appointments. Now, we'll deduct 10% from cancellations. Some of them are going to cancel, and that's fine. You still end up going on 250 qualified listing appointments. If you get 60% of those listings signed, you take 150 listings. From those listings, let's say only 65% of them sell. That's 100 closed transactions per year. Multiply that by a conservative average commission of $7,000. That is $700,000 per year. Now, for every listing sold, you can count on having a buyer sale too. So let a buyer's agent handle those buyers and you keep 50% of those commissions. That is over $1 million a year in income from setting one qualified listing appointment per day. Which number don't you believe? Because every single one of them is conservative. 65% closing ratio, that's average. If you learn the skills I teach, you're going to close at a much higher rate. 65% sell. If you price them right, that number goes way up. $7,000 commission in most markets, that's on the low end. Think about this. You're offered a job making $1 million a year salary. All you have to do is show up Monday through Friday and set one qualified listing appointment per day. What would you do to have that job? And if you are hired, what would you do differently than what you're doing right now? Would you start prospecting earlier? Would you talk to more people? Would you use different scripts? Guess what? You already have the job. The question is, are you showing up for it? So let's talk about scripts, because the question I always get asked is, what do I say when they answer the phone? I put together a free script book with the exact for sale by owner, expired scripts, objection handlers, closes, pre-qualifying, listing presentation, pricing, property, everything you need. Click the link in the description of this video and download it. It's free. Print it out, put it next to your phone, and start making calls. Now, I know some of you are thinking, okay, Jackie, those numbers look great on paper, but will it really work? Let me show you exactly what it actually looked like for me. I was selling real estate in South Florida, one of the most competitive markets in the country. For my first 2 years, I started calling around the neighborhood where I lived, about 3,000 homes. There was an agent who already dominated that area. He had for sale signs everywhere. He had a reputation. He had been listing and selling in that area for years. Within 1 year, I had more listings in that neighborhood than he did. And all I did was call. No marketing, no mailers, no money. I just called the same people over and over until they actually started to know me. And when they answer the phone, they go, "Oh, hey, Jackie, how are you?" But here's when it really hit me that this works. I'm a brand new agent. I get an appointment with an expired listing. I'm terrified. And when I pre-qualified the seller over the phone and I asked if he was meeting with any other agents, he said 3 other agents. And they were not beginners. These were agents who'd been selling real estate for 10, 20 years, selling 100, 200 homes a year. One of them was a real estate coach. I still remember their names. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, I have 0 chance. I showed up anyway. I do my presentation. I show them the comps. I tell the seller the truth about the price. It's not what they want to hear, but I told them what they needed to hear. And I walked out of there with a signed listing agreement. Brand new, no track record, going head to head with agents who had decades on me. And the seller picked me. Why? High energy, enthusiasm, desire, and belief. And all of this makes up for a lack of skills. When you're brand new, but you've got that fire in you and you're committed, when the seller is going to be your one and only priority, when you're not going to stop until their home is sold. Sellers feel that. They feel it in how you show up. They feel it in your voice. They feel it in the way that you look at them in the eye and tell them the truth. And I realized worrying about the competition and what every other agent is doing was a complete waste of my time and energy. The only thing that mattered was how many people I talked to and how I showed up on the phone and at the appointment. 40 to 50% of expired listings relist their property within 72 hours. If you're not calling them first thing in the morning, they're gonna list with someone else. And that should never happen. That agent should be you. Now, I need to share something with you that cost me a lot of time and a lot of money my first year. I was so focused on taking listings. I'm on the phone. I want to talk to people who want to sell. I want to go out and I want to take listings. And I'm doing it. I'm listing properties, but I didn't know anything about pricing. Nobody told me that the listings need to be priced right or they wouldn't sell. Duh. I started in 1996 in Fort Lauderdale, buyer's market. Tons of inventory. And because I didn't know how to price properties, my listings started to expire. And that's when I came up with this mantra. My job every day is to list and reduce, list and reduce, list and reduce, list and reduce. Those are the only 2 activities that matter. Take a listing, get it priced right. If it's not selling, reduce the price until it does. What's the point of taking a listing that's not going to sell? It's a waste of your time and the seller's time. When you take a well-priced listing, the property is going to sell. You'll have agents in your market bringing multiple offers. Good pricing sells more properties than great marketing ever will. So when you go on that listing appointment, you're not there to tell the seller what they want to hear. You're there to show them the evidence, That's what they're looking for in an agent, a knowledgeable professional that knows what needs to be done to get their home sold. They've already been through months of wasted time and aggravation with an agent who told them what they wanted to hear. And that agent, that's the one whose listing expired. Now, you might be thinking, the hardest part of this is picking up the phone, the rejection, the hang-ups, the people who tell you they're not interested. It's not. That's not the hard part. The hardest part is what's happening in your head, because your mindset is everything. It's not 90%. It's not 99%. It's everything. Personally, I know that mindset is responsible for 100% of how you live your life and the results that you produce. So the negative feelings, the doubt, the fear, that voice in your head that's always saying you can't do it, it's too hard. That's what I call my out of control roommate. This voice in my head that's always creating doubt, bringing me down, making me fearful. It's on autopilot. We all have it. All of a sudden, you have a negative thought and you don't even know where it came from. We all have it. We're all human beings. And you have to learn to quiet that roommate down. Zig Ziglar used to tell a story, and I want you to really think about this. Someone knocks on your door. You open it, and they throw a huge garbage can full of garbage right in your living room. One of the big ones, overflowing. You spend hours cleaning it up. Next day, same time, knock on the door. You look outside and you see the same person with a big garbage can overflowing with trash. Are you going to open the door? Of course not. So why would you let people throw garbage into your mind? The negative news, the agents in your office saying it's a bad market, the friend who tells you real estate is too hard, all of that negative stuff accumulates. No wonder that roommate in your head is constantly whispering, it's not going to work, you're not good enough, or whatever. You need to protect your mind way more than you would protect your living room. Your living room is a lot easier to clean up in comparison. It doesn't matter what's happening in the market. It doesn't matter what the economy is doing. It doesn't matter what other agents are saying. The only thing that matters is what's going on in your head. And you have to figure out how to control it. Nobody's thinking your thoughts for you. You're the only thinker in your mind. Take control of it and you'll become unstoppable. And that starts with eliminating negative people and negative situations that bring you down and drain your energy. I want you to picture something. It's 1 year from now. You're taking listings every week. You're closing transactions. Agents in your office are asking, oh, how are you doing it all? You talk to enough people. You follow my scripts. You don't let your roommate stop you. You showed up every single morning and you did the work. Maybe you didn't take a listing the first week, maybe not the second week either, but your work was accumulating. You were getting better at these conversations every single day. You were talking to enough people. You're finding opportunities. And then all of a sudden, week 4 hits and you take 3 or 4 listings. I know it's going to happen. And if you're sitting here right now thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do it, I know you can. Borrow my belief right now and start doing the work. When you do, the results follow. I've done it. Thousands of agents that I've coached have done it. And there's no reason why you can't do it too. And remember, every no gets you closer to a yes. So you never lose. You either win or you learn. everything I shared with you today, the math, the story, the mindset, the pricing lesson, that's a small piece of what I teach inside the 100 Listings Blueprint. That's my coaching program. Inside, you get the complete scripts, live role plays, live listing presentation, every single objection handler, 2 live calls with me every week, an incredible community, and so much more. Click the link below and check it out. And if you haven't done it yet, make sure you download my free script book. The link is also in the description. It's free. Now, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me, what's your biggest challenge? What is holding you back right now? I read every single comment. So let me bring you back to where we started. 1 listing appointment per day. That's the formula. And now you know the math that proves it works. Talk to enough people. Call FSBOs and expireds every single morning. Use my scripts. Tell sellers the truth about price. Protect your mind. Show up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter where you're selling real estate and what every other agent is doing. There is nothing fun about being average. And the fact that you're still here tells me you're not average. You are ready to be a true professional, offer great service to sellers, and make a fortune in the process. Stay focused. Do what you're supposed to do. Take massive action with high levels of energy and enthusiasm. And remember this is very important. There is no substitute for massive action. There is someone in your market who wants to sell their house today. And if you talk to enough people, you'll find them. Get out there, make it happen, and I will see you on the next video.